think what people have wrong with those struggling with SUD is not understanding that it is a chronic mental medical health condition. There is still this stigma that believes it is willpower, that it is some kind of character flaw. And I think that the science is there, the medical community is there. We've known this for a long time. Addiction is a chronic mental medical health condition. What changed my view on how we deal with addiction was actually a tragedy. It was the loss of an entire family in my community, a mother and all three of her sons. I had a strong connection to one of the boys who actually set my personal car on fire. I dealt with the family, the boys, for nearly 20 years, and one by one, each one died from substance use disorder. And the last of the brothers, the one that set my car on fire, a couple weeks before Thanksgiving, he overdosed. Fire department went up there, gave him Narcan, brought him back. I got a call at home and they said, "Hey Chief, Chucky overdosed, he was brought back, he's down here crying, saying he doesn't want to die, what should we do?" And at the time we didn't have, especially in a small town, connections to treatment or nowhere to send people. So realizing that he wasn't just the last of a family, but the last of an entire generation, I said, we got to do everything we can to keep him alive. If we have to take him to a hospital, if we have to find treatment somehow, pay for it, we'll do it. About an hour later, they called back and said that Chucky was refusing treatment. And having been in the addiction field for a while now, it's not necessarily something uncommon for someone to kind of be familiar with that despair instead of going for that kind of hope of getting into recovery. It's quite the challenge. So I said, well, we got to keep him alive for at least one more night. And my tools as a police officer at the time were gun, taser, handcuffs, and jail. I said, so we got to take him to jail. Let's keep him alive for at least one more night. We accomplished our mission. Chucky stayed alive for one more night, got out the next morning, overdosed on what was left of his heroin and fentanyl. And I realized that I'd seen not just an entire family, but an entire generation lost to addiction in my small town. Here I am, this cop who thinks he could save the world. I couldn't even save a family. That led to me writing an article in the Cincinnati Enquirer in 2014 where I was pretty open about having empathy for the family, empathy for Chucky. That led to quite a bit of discussion. From me, it was that personal tragedy, seeing that family die. They have children and we're now dealing with the third generation, and my hope was that we would have a community group that could come together and work on these chronic social, mental, medical health conditions like addiction. That group started with about a dozen people officially in 2015. Now it has 400 people and over 150 organizations that are part of it, and it's now called the Hamilton County Addiction Response Coalition. So it is something that was formed out of tragedy, and hopefully, and I think it is making a difference, not just here, but around the country and around the world.